This video is dedicated to James Humphreys. James, thank you. Winota, Joiner of Forces versus Sisay Weatherlight Captain, Dromar the Banisher, and Talran the Sky Summoner. Oh, that's a real shame. We were going to get an awesome start off there. Yeah, not really sure what the plan was there. Let's see if we can get another one going. Winota, Joiner of Forces versus the brand new Radha, Heart of Keld, Chulane, Teller of Tales, and Thada Adel, Acquisitioner. And I'm just wondering if we should keep that hand just because it's got a Grand Abolisher in it. Nah, it's not really the best reason to keep a hand. Let's just mulligan and hope that we can get into some ramp. Alright, that is a one-lander, but we can go into Enlightened Tutor, and that can take us into a Sol Ring maybe? Yeah, we'll keep that. A Mosswort Bridge comes down from Radha, and we are just going in for Windswept Heath. I will crack that at the end of Radha's turn, and we'll go for the Enlightened Tutor. Unfortunately not getting into a land this turn, but if we go for Mana Crypt, then we'll at least be able to get out Mog War Marshal, Goblin Instigator. Probably go for this one first, actually. A Ponder coming from the Thada player. Persistent Petitioners from Chulane, so obviously this is a Persistent Petitioners deck. Wanted to build one of these myself with the new Brewvac, but you try getting your hands on a Brewvac on Magic Online. The way that Wizards have decided to release new commanders in the special sets recently is really not good in my opinion. It's driving the prices up like crazy, and the new Commander 2020 generals, as well as the Jumpstart generals, are, yeah, they're an exorbitant price. Anyhow, we will go for the Plateau into Enlightened Tutor. That takes us into Mana Crypt. Unfortunately, we've got no land to make, so we really are in top deck mode with regards to lands, especially if someone blows up our Mana Crypt. Although on the bright side, if we get into a land next turn, then we'll be able to get down Winota and start swinging in with the Goblins. So, yeah, it's a risky one, but we might be able to make it work. Psychic Surgery. Whenever an opponent shuffles their library, you can look at the top 2 cards of that library and exile one of them. So, yeah, that's an interesting, I don't know if you could call it mill, but an interesting type of mill where you can take cards away from your opponent. And obviously that works nicely with the Thada Adel because they will force you to shuffle when they root through your library. Persistent Petitioners comes in at us now, trying to encourage us to block with a Goblin. We're obviously not going to do that. Then Ivy Dancer for the Gruul player. Target creature gains Forest Walk until the end of the turn, a means of pushing through commander damage, I dare say. Now, fingers crossed we get into a land here. Well, we do, but completely the wrong land for us to get into. We'll play it anyway. I'm actually going to hold that up as a rattlesnake effect. If anyone decides to come in at us, or do we want to do that? Actually, let's go for the Gold Knight commander. And hopefully, once again, we'll get into a white or red land next turn. And yeah, I'm just going to not attack anyone. I'm going to try and fly under the radar, although everyone should know how good Winota is and how quickly it can go off. But yeah, if we get into a red or white land, we can go for our commander next turn, swing in with these two, hopefully get a bunch of triggers with that. I just don't want to play the Mog War Marshal into a board wipe of some kind. And I have Ugin from the Thada player, so yeah, likely that they've got Eldrazi in the deck. Then the Petitioners doesn't swing in this time because we've got a 2-2 in play now. But they do have double blue held up this time, so may well be that they can counter our commander. And we will be a million miles away from casting our commander if they counter it. Then the first commander of the game, Radha, Heart of Keld, comes in. Alright, and I actually put... I was going to say, I actually put a stop on the upkeep there, or on the draw step even, to see what we draw into, because I'm looking over here at the Chulane player. If we draw into a plains or a mountain, which we have, I can go strip mine onto this and take them off double blue during our main phase, but yeah, there's double blue over here as well. Don't know how well we're going to fare against a couple of blue players. Let's just hold off on the strip mine for now. We only need one more land and we can get into our commander again. So let's try and get rid of some counter magic. Alright, that land, surprisingly, that's exactly why you run the risk. Just because there's blue players at the table doesn't mean they have counter magic in hand. There's many blue decks that I've built that actually don't run that much counter magic just for the sake of fun. So let's take everything in at the Chulane player, because they swung in at us before, so we'll just look like it's tit for tat. And then a couple of Winota triggers, and we've got a choice of 2 cards there. There is the Blade Master. Creatures you control gain double strike until the end of the turn. I think I'd rather get into that later, so let's get down the Silverwing Squadron first. That too can attack Chulane. All of our stuff gets +1/+1 every time the Gold Knight Commander sees a creature enter, and then we've got protection from a board wipe there in Gerard. Yeah, we can get more creatures out with Geist Honored Monk, but I think I'd prefer Wrath Protection. So that too can go in at our BAMP player friend over there. So we go, take our opponent down to 15. If we'd gotten the double striker out instead of this, we might have taken that player out there actually. I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure what would have occurred there. But either way, we end up with a big creature, and we swing in with enough of these things, we'll be able to trigger Winota enough. So it's just a case of trying to outrace our opponents at this point. All they really have to do is remove Winota, and yeah, we're probably going to be set back for a few turns at least, unless we get lucky with top decks on lands. Celestia Signet from the Chulane player, and still holding up their blue mana, although I don't think they have any counter magic because they didn't use it on us last time. Going for another Petitioner. Vance's Blasting Cannons from the Gruul player now, which is effectively a means of card draw. Now, if we can get into a red source, we can go Mog War Marshal and Mass Hysteria, so that we can actually swing in with these creatures on the same turn that we cast them, but it's asking a lot to get into a land, let alone a red one. Okay, that is Hanged Executioner. When it enters the battlefield, create a 1/1 spirit with flying, so that would go nicely with the Mass Hysteria. Yeah, let's go for that. Put the Gold Knight Commander on the stack first so that we get the Spirit into play. And then that can get +1/+1 as well from the Gold Knight Commander. Then let's go for the Mass Hysteria and hope that it doesn't hurt us. We're getting creatures out way faster than our opponents. So we'll take out the Chulane player with these creatures. And then let's go after Thada now. It is the blue players that I am most worried about. Go for the Winota triggers first. And then the Silverwing Squadron will resolve before the Winota triggers. Potentially help out the tokens that we get from that. So 3 knights come into play. Gold Knight Commander triggers 3 times. And I think, yeah, we're going for Grand Abolisher there. Although, now let's go for Bruce Tarl. And that too can attack the blue player. I don't know how much damage we're dealing to them yet. Might be that we can take out a couple of players. In fact, maybe we can take out all 3 players this turn. Anyway, do they get lifelink and double strike? Yeah, they get lifelink and double strike, so let's just give it to our commander, because we might be able to just get them with commander damage. Argument to be made for giving it to this to gain a bunch of life, but I don't think it really matters. Get into the Stormfront, which gives us protection from Cyclonic Rift. That can attack the Gruul player. I'll just hope that both of these players are going down here. But when the Stormfront Riders comes down, we have to return creatures to our hand, don't we? Let's see. I'm just going to return the tokens. I don't think they're really going to matter here. I'm just going to push through as much damage as I possibly can. And the Stormfront Riders is going to leave us with some soldiers anyway when we bounce those tokens, so sort of replace themselves. Okay, another couple of triggers yet. Winota gets us into a rally, which is gains indestructible. I mean, they've near enough got indestructible anyway, thanks to Winota, but we'll go in at the Gruul player with that as well. So all of our creatures have indestructible thanks to the ally creature. Winota whiffs on the final trigger. So I think we're only leaving the Gruul player in play here, but I didn't actually work out the attacks properly. Both of our opponents just decide to take it there, I think. Both the blue players do. And yeah, that's 28 points of commander damage. We might have been taking them down even without the Winota anyway, even if it was blocked. So both of those players deciding to take it. They're being really good sports about it. No salt or anything like that. We have gotten off to, well, a very good start, considering the fact that we couldn't get into any lands when we wanted to. Or we only started with a one-lander, I suppose. Decided to risk it, and it has worked out nicely for us. So now our opponent is in a very tricky spot. Even if they wipe the board, the Gerard is going to bring everything back. Obviously, Cyclonic Rift is not going to occur now, but Stormfront Riders would protect us from that. Dawn Strider coming down for our opponent. Discard a card, prevent all combat damage that will be dealt this turn. Alright, so yeah, they can fog for quite a few turns there. Luckily for us, we've got a Chaos Warp in hand, so we can get rid of that thing. Okay, and we get into Arid Mesa, which is really good. So, yeah, I'm not going to bother with Thalia's Lancers. What we can do, though, is go for... Do we care about Mog War Marshal while we've got Mass Hysteria and a bunch of creatures in play? I think I'll hold on to that just in case our opponent does somehow manage to get some kind of board wipe off. We'll just go for Chaos Warp on their turn. Oh, and we've actually got Hanged Executioner as well, haven't we? So we can exile this and exile the Dawn Strider, so probably go for that instead of the Chaos Warp, actually. Scavenging Ooze has been exiled off the top with the enchantment, but I don't think that's going to be of too much use to them. They get the red Hideaway card down as well. Then going for the Scavenging Ooze, only 4 cards left in hand. So we're just pretty much setting ourselves up for being able to go in for an attack next turn. We will exile this creature of ours in order to get rid of the Dawn Strider. And there we go, let's crack the Arid Mesa for a tap land as well. And our opponent decides to scoop it there, that's fair enough. What were we drawing into, perhaps? Okay, Iroas just makes it even more difficult for our opponent. That also would have been able to swing in and trigger our commander, well, a 10th time or whatever it would have been. So yeah, safe to say that we were winning that one, Winota being as obnoxious as ever. I'm not going to run her out too often because she does just run away with games like this. But every now and then it's fun to go crazy with a Winota Boros deck. So hopefully you did like it. Be sure to leave it a like and subscribe if you did. I'm tribalkai on the EDH channel. Thank you for watching.